It's definitely. I mean, it's
That
definitely. It definitely feels like it's scripted,
It's definitely
but
scripted.
So you don't think they're fighting legitimately,
I think if
I
Mike
don't.
even though it
wanted
got
to,
sanctioned?
I think Mike Tyson should. I just saw Mike Tyson. I've seen him. I've seen what kind of shape he's in. Like you said, he should fold him in round one. If this was a
Yeah,
legitimate, your skill, everything
I
you
think the
know.
kid can run from him for 2 rounds. I think if Mike doesn't win in the first 3 rounds, then Mike's not going to win. It's going to go to a
Well,
decision, and it'll be a decision
a
for Mike.
draw.
I don't think
But
that
Yeah,
you walk into a fight with Mike Tyson and ask Mike Tyson to take it easy. Like, like,
Mike
like,
Tyson doesn't know how to
no.
take it easy.
Mike Tyson is not doing that. Mike Tyson is going to come into LeVar's point. If Mike Tyson comes there to do damage against his kid, he's going to try to do damage against his kid from the outset. So to LeVar's point, if this thing lasts more than a couple of rounds, it either means one of two things. Jake Paul can really take a punch. Mike Tyson's really
hmm
shot. He's shot to shit, and there's
he's
nothing he can do about it.
shot.
Or yeah, I mean,
It's
or
boxing and
it's
basketball.
it's
Look
it's
at
it's
this.
a show, and
Yeah,
Netflix needs the ratings.
basketball is a terrible comparison because you can kind of fake it and be, but in boxing, that is like an art form that few dudes master. Like Mike Tyson mastered boxing, the quickness, the ability to. No, no, it's no way.
I hear what you're saying. I'm not saying I give the guy a shot. He's favored, I think, because he's 31 years younger. So you just can't discount the fact that, well, maybe this young guy can take a punch. I doubt it, but I
Punch.
also doubt that he's going to try to get inside and mix it up with Mike fucking Tyson.
I mean, I'm sure he can take a punch. I'm not saying
Yeah,
he
from a
can't.
regular boxer, but not from a guy
The,
who fought heavyweight
the,
because
I'm
he's not a
saying
heavyweight naturally.
if
Mike,
he had to fight Tyson off the bench, I think Tyson would have lost. But I think Tyson's going to win this because only he might have trained for endurance, just so he can fight for this match.
Well,
I'm factoring in the fact that you have athletes who are, special, and Mike was a special boxer. I mean, he was
yeah,
unique. So did that just leave his body? Because Mike Tyson
Nope.
is the type of boxer, if he hits you, you felt it. A professional boxer felt when Mike would hit him in the gut, in the side, he would crumble. A professional elite heavyweight. That man
Even
unique talent. Unless
no,
that left
he
his
I even
body altogether. I mean, I don't know.
I
He
even saw
doesn't
some
lose
videos
this.
before.
I mean, he
Go
doesn't
ahead.
lose the skill. He doesn't lose the ability to do it. What he loses is, the strength to take out, at 58 years old, he's just not the same guy that he was 20 years ago,
Yeah, I don't think he's gonna have
10
that
years
strength
ago.
part, but
They
he
say
Yeah.
still
the
got the
last thing
he
that
still got the
goes is the
speed.
strength. The speed
He
is
still got the
usually what
speed.
loses, what
Yeah,
you
Right.
lose when you
Even
don't.
even the speed, right? The
He
speed
still
is
got the
not
speed
there.
though. You saw some videos that he still had the speed of dodging and weaving and stuff like that.
I don't know.
He still got it.
It didn't look fast. It looked fast
It
because
looks
it looked
faster. It
it
looks
it
faster than a normal boxer. It doesn't
it,
look Mike
it
Tyson fast, but
Mm.
yeah, exactly. It doesn't look faster than normal. I mean, here, look, it looks it looks like Mike Tyson is back, but the question really is he has to be in a ring and has to fight to show that he's really back. It looks like Mike Tyson is back from the sparring and the training and all those things. It looks like Mike Tyson is back and we're gonna get the old Mike Tyson, and that may be the truth. But the rate the odds say that we're just going to get an old Mike Tyson. We're not going to get
yeah,
the old Mike Tyson
Mhm.
especially if he had to like move around, I'm guessing and wear himself out a little bit. I'm
in a
guessing.
ring. And if but the fact is Jake Paul hasn't fought in a while either, right? So it's not
Right.
like Jake Paul's been fighting. I can't remember when the last fight he had. Did he have a fight in 2023?
Shit, I don't think so. I don't remember the last time he fought. That's how long ago
He
it
fought
was.
a
The
bare
last
knuckle boxer in 2023, but also he's moving up 25 pounds. Right now.
Yeah, and he looks fat, right?
And Mike is a underdog, and I'm betting on Mike. Mike is
He
plus
looks
I'm betting
fat.
on
250.
Mike all the way.
He looks fat. Well, y'all tell me what y'all think because I'm not watching the fight.
I'm not
Although
watching.
I do shout out Netflix for making it available for like the millions of people that have Netflix and
Which
nobody has
is,
to buy a whole new
It's on
pay-per-view.
Netflix, and you don't even got to pay for it if you got Netflix. You just got to
yeah,
cut it
Hmm.
off.
not watching that.
Exactly. It's not like a Netflix pay-per-view event. It's just Netflix, which uh which I think is good because I wasn't paying to see this fight.
It seems
Uh,
it's an obvious stunt.
Just like I was telling Levon earlier before you came on, Malik, and before we started recording, because I want to see it just because you never know. You might get that Nate Robinson moment. I want to see Jake Paul in that Nate Robinson moment. You know, when he got knocked out and they started making memes, they put the little symbol behind him trying to wake him up and stuff like that. We can't wait to see stuff like that coming down later on down the
I
tube.
I don't need to see that live. It'll be on the internet for years to come. I'll just wait for that to show up there. I, there's something else I could do on my Friday night, and I promise you I will find something better to do on my Friday
Yeah.
night.
Uh,
Uh
but that's the beauty about having it on Netflix. You can put it on different things. I'll have it on my tablet while I'm doing my real thing or watching something real on TV or playing my games or whatever. I don't know what I'm going to be doing around that time, but it's going to be on my tablet. So when something funny like that comes, I can watch it.
This is
Still be
brutal.
ready.
it's sad that this is what boxing has come to as a
Yeah, that's
sport.
true.
Yeah, boxing is. I was talking about this
Yeah.
Eagle Washington game that I am forcing myself to watch, but you guys are
All
right.
right. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm watching it too because it's kind of funny to watch the kicker on the Eagles keep missing that field goal.
Yeah.
And with that, thank you for the segue, Levon. Welcome to the Uptown Parlay Podcast. I am your host, Malik, again, and I'm here with Levon and Anthony, as you just heard us going through our discussion around the upcoming Tyson Jake Paul fight, which is happening tomorrow, Friday. We are recording this on Thursday night, November the 14th. In the midst of the Washington Commanders and Philadelphia Eagles game, second quarter, Eagles are driving. Washington's up 7-0. Did we lay picks? Did we lay picks for this game? I think we did. I think Ace took the Eagles.
Yeah, I got the Eagles too.
And Anthony took the Eagles. I think I took the Commanders, but I'm not sure. I took the Commanders. I took the 3.5 points. But how y'all doing, fellas? How's everything going?
Could be better. Could be better. Knicks wet the bed yesterday.
Oh, that was a brutal
That
loss.
was brutal.
That was a
To be
brutal
down
loss.
20
Blame that on Obi. On
and to watch that. No, not to watch it. I didn't get to
OG.
see it, but to follow it and to listen, and it was
Did they lose by
awful.
one?
I watched it. They lost by
And lost
they lost by one. They lost by one.
Yes, they did. It was awful.
On a sham 3-point attempt foul called.
That was a legit
when
foul.
Josh Hart hit that man's hair.
No, but
He
you
did
can't.
not.
You
he
can't
did
try
not-
to block a shot from the back.
Yes, you can. If you don't touch the guy, you
Good
can
luck with
absolutely
that.
try to
Good
block.
luck.
He didn't
with
touch him.
That.
He
Good
didn't
luck
touch
with
him.
being beat and then
He
trying to
didn't touch
block
him.
it. All he had to do is run across his face, and then just it
A-
is what it is.
a
But to
foul-
go up
a
and try to
foul-
block him from behind the side.
A
was
foul
boneheaded.
requires contact, and the last I remember, your hair does not count.
Well,
Okay.
Here's part of your body, though.
kudos
No,
to
it's
Kobe
not.
White for wearing his hair like that because it looked like it affected his shot, and that's
No,
why he got the call.
He did a split in the air. He pirouetted
Yeah.
like a black swan and acted like he got abused when in actuality the man just hit his blowout. That's it.
It affected his shot.
Did not affect his shot.
I don't
Made it
have
look
hair
it
like that.
affected
If
his
I had a
shot.
lot of hair like that, maybe I could relate. But
He made
if
it
you have a
look
lot
like
of
it
hair,
affected
it is
his
connected
shot.
to your head. And if somebody moves your hair, it might affect your shot. That's a
Yeah.
part of your body.
So
I'm a
therefore,
Knicks fan. You have me
therefore,
arguing
if there's
for
a
the
strong
Bulls.
gust in Madison Square Garden,
There's
then
no
yeah, we should
gust.
we
There's no
should
gust.
yeah we should turn
the thing
off
is
the
that you-
AC at Madison Square Garden because if
You take your
strong
fingers and
wind throws off his shot.
But
Get
if you
outta
take your hand and you wave it across your hair a little bit, you can actually feel it moving back and forth. So it does affect
Josh
the
Hart
shot.
didn't foul that man.
I don't know. I don't want to get us too far off
Whatever.
track, but yeah, I could be doing better. And yeah, so all New York sports is just taking a shit right now. And my picks took a shit last week, so yeah, I'm down bad.
It's just hurt
Yeah,
all over.
You could if everybody actually saw how my picture actually looks like my little avatar picture. Yeah, I'm back to that picture again. the bag over the head. So that's how I feel.
Well, let's get into it. Well, week 10, Levon brought up week 10. We did our
Mm.
picks for week 10. It was not a great week for most of us. Well, Ace and Ant still had good weeks. We picked 14 games. Ace finished 10-4.
Hmm.
Ant
Wow.
finished 8-6. Yep, 8 and
And
6.
those over and unders keep getting me. I can
I
actually get those right.
finished
I think I'll be
what
killing it.
I finished 6-8, and Levon finished 5-9. So
Oh
Jesus.
wow.
Jesus.
those were the results. Um, Best bets. Ace finished. Ace only had 5 best bets last week. He finished 2-3. Ant had 6 best bets. He finished 3-3. I finished 3-3, and Levon had 4 best bets and finished 1-3.
Yow.
That was bad last
All
week.
right. Yeah,
Bad.
last
I
week
told y'all not to
wasn't
pick
our
on the Jets.
best.
That was
I told
bad.
y'all not to pick the Jets.
Bad.
Hey, look, I won't be doing it. Look, I'm previewing my picks now. I won't be doing it from now on, and I tell you that much. Oh man. All right, so let's get into it. Week 11 picks. We start out with my team, the Lions, hosting the Jaguars. This is the highest line of the week, but it's also
Oh,
probably the
this will
highest
beat
line of the
them.
season. It's Lions hosting the Jags. Lions 13.5 point favorites. So the Lions are back at home after playing 3 of the last 4 on the road. Their last home game was that 52-14 destruction of the Titans and backup quarterback Mason Rudolph. The Jaguars come into town and they're starting their own backup, Mac Jones, with Trevor Lawrence out again for the second
Oh, it's
straight
great to be
week.
Lions.
The Jags offense struggled as expected, but they actually looked good defensively last week in a close loss to Minnesota. They kept the Vikings out of the end zone, forced 3 turnovers. Meanwhile, Detroit has won 7 straight games and proven that they can win in many different ways, even if their quarterback throws 5 interceptions, they can still find a way to win and control the contest. So um, I'll go first here. I'm on record saying I don't like large point spreads like this. There's too many variables for backdoor covers. So this is clearly not going to be a best bet for me either way. That said, this line is held at about 14 all week. So there's considerable reason to believe that this is exactly what people should expect in this game. The Jags are not going to have they won't have Trevor Lawrence, as I mentioned. They likely won't have Josh Allen or Josh Hines Allen, if you want to call him, which has hurt their pass rush. And one can assume that after last week's five interception showing, Goff is likely going to want to play a clean physical game. I think the real place of interest here is the Lions defense, which they shut down a really good Houston team in the second half of that game, and get Zadarius Smith to come in his first game, see if he can make an impact in his first start for Detroit. If the Jags can't generate long drives against Aaron Glenn's defense, this can get ugly real quick. I'm going to take the Lions. The over-under on this is 46.5, and I will take the under. Ant, you're up.
Dang, I forgot you guys just got a brand new present in good old Smith. So I'm going to take the Lions as well. I'm going to take the over. This is a back-to-back SmackDown, and I'm definitely here for it.
All right, Levon, you're up.
Yeah, it's a pretty obvious game, but I just want to five interceptions, and he managed to win the game. I don't know what's going on in sports. I don't know. Lions and the under, please. Locking that in.
No, I mean, what happened was Houston didn't score touchdowns off of those interceptions. That was mainly what happened. They kicked field goals. They scored 2 touchdowns in the game. They kicked field goals for the most part.
And the
And
weirdest,
that's what left it open.
I don't know. 5 interceptions in the game, team wins. Team doesn't score 1 touchdown in the game, kick 7 field goals, they win. Harry tipped up. I mean,
It
what
is.
is happening? The Chiefs can't lose a game even when they should block field. What is? I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's happening. Knicks losing too. All right, lock it in for me. Locking it in.
All right. Next game. Next, yeah, we don't have picks from Ace right now, so maybe when he joins, he'll give us all those picks for the games that we cover that he didn't get a chance to weigh in on.
Oh, he said
All right.
something this game. He put it in the chat. He said locking in the Jags.
Ah, there we go.
You didn't see
There
it?
we go. Of course, the dissenter in the ranks.
Ace
All
is
right,
going to be like
no
the
problem.
Tesla robot texting this stuff in.
All right, next game, Packers at Bears. Packers are 5.5-point favorites on the road against Chicago, and the over-under in this game is 40.5. So fresh off of the firing of offensive coordinator Shane Waldron, the Bears are trying to right the ship after losing 3 straight, most recently at home to the now 3-win Patriots. Caleb Williams has regressed to the point where there were legitimate questions regarding whether he should be benched in favor of Tyson Badgett this week. I don't know if you guys heard that. It goes without saying this is an important game for both teams, present and future. On the other side, Green Bay's coming up their bye week, and they appear to have used the time well in terms of just healing up. Jordan Love doesn't look like he's hurt anymore. And it's a must-win division game for both of these teams to stay in the playoff hunt. If either one of them, if the Bears want to be legitimately identified as a wild card team, or if the Packers want to stay close to Detroit in the division, I believe they're 7-2 right now. So, or 7-3 right, or 7-2 right now after coming up their bye. So, or 6. I'm sorry, they are 6-3. The Vikings are 7-2. So the Bears Packers 5.5 points. Levon, what you got?
The Bears is disappointing. Caleb has regressed. Why? No one seems to know. His relationship with his teammates is even being brought into question. I did hear about that, how his relationship with some of his teammates isn't what it should be. I think they mentioned DJ Moore specifically. How their connection has been off all year, and there's no way they should beat Green Bay. I mean, Green Bay is coming off a bye. Matt Flores had, a whole week plus to prepare for this game. The Bears are reeling. The Packers are a legitimate contender. I'm going to take Green Bay and the under.
All right. Ant.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with Levon, except for one thing. I'm gonna take Green Bay and over in this one. This is gonna be a beat down, in my opinion. I think Love is gonna be grabbing that little wrestling belt that Aaron Rodgers used to have and go give him some discount double checks touchdowns on there. So give me give me the Packers and the over. Something is definitely wrong with Caleb Williams, and his name is Matt Eberflus or whatever his name is. I'll forget by next year because he's not going to be in the NFL. That'll be
Is
my
the
first
lock
lock
for
of the
you,
week.
Ant? Oh, this is
Yes,
a
it is.
lock. Okay.
Falling for people jobs is terrible. Damn.
So I'll take the Bears here. So for as much as was been said about the QBs in this game, to me, this game is really about the defenses and how many extra possessions they can generate for their offenses. The Bears are ranked 7th in scoring defense, and they're 8th in takeaways, while the Packers are tied for 2nd. They're 1st in passing defense, and they're 2nd in the NFL with 19 takeaways. So whichever team wins the turnover battle here is likely going to, own this game outright. The Packers have lost turnover battle in 2 of their 3 games that they've lost, and Jordan Love has proven susceptible to the bonehead plays on occasion. So, um, if the Packers, if the trade of Preston Smith from the Packers has any impact on their ability to rush the passer, then we might see some progress or some positive play from Caleb Williams. I just think the 5.5 is a bit high on the road for Green Bay in Chicago. I think this game just can play a little closer. Chicago can definitely win this outright. So I'm going to take the Bears. I like the points here, and I like the under for the score. Looks like Ace is on. So Ace, do you have a pick for Bears Packers?
Yeah, I'm locking in the Bears obviously because the Packers are trash this season. Jordan Love is overrated. Their running back is suspect, and their receivers are suspect as well, which is why none of them have gotten big contracts, and they're all rookies, and they're playing like it. Their tight end is still hurt, and we're still generating turnovers as a team. The offense just couldn't capitalize on it. And I think the defense, if they can win that turnover battle, as Malik pointed out, the Packers keep losing it. They'll have a much more conservative game plan. And I think the fact that they got Shane Waldron up out of there after he got fired the previous season from Carolina I always questioned why this man was hired to begin with, and he hasn't developed the quarterback. He kind of led to Bryce Young getting benched, so that was already a bad sign there. I'm taking the Bears because they're at home and they tend to play the Packers much tougher at home. And Caleb doesn't want to get benched, so I realize he's not playing for his entire career, but he's playing for his current career. And I don't know if he's playing for the coach, but he's playing for himself and for his teammates. And he's trying to show some toughness out there, so I appreciate that from the young man. And I think he's going to make the throws that he needs to make on third down to keep these drives going and keep, as they say, matriculating the ball down the field. So I'm locking in the Packers, and I'm going to take that 5.5 because I don't see the Packers being able to blow us out. I think the defense is going to lock in and play a little bit better. They're not really throwing at Jalen Johnson. They keep targeting Tyreek Stevenson, the other corner on the other side. And he probably wants to show to his team that he's improved after talking trash to the fans and, show up and show out, so to speak. So locking in the Bears, I'm going to take that 5.5. It might even get bet up to 6.5. So feel even more confident on that.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Ace. Next up, we have the Rams at the Patriots. Rams are 4.5-point favorites going on the road to New England. And the over-under on this game is 43.5. So the Rams are 1-3 on the road, and the Patriots are 1-3 at home. Patriots are coming off of a win last week in Chicago, while the Rams lost an ugly Monday Night Football game at home to the Dolphins. These are two teams that, to me, the Rams just every week they seem to be a different team. I guess it may be dependent upon the opponent that they play, or it may be dependent upon just how much they're getting out of Matt Stafford and that offense. Their defense looks pretty good. The defense has been pretty good. They've got a pretty good pass rush, but they just don't seem to have any level of consistency in a game that they, should definitely have looked much better in against the Dolphins last week. They laid an egg. The offense looked horrible. They didn't score any touchdowns. They were just really, not on the right page. And the Dolphins are not Dolphins are far from a juggernaut defense, so to speak. The Patriots are not a juggernaut as well. So this may be a good spot for them to get some healing on. But again, this is a short week on the road. And you just never know with the Patriots this time around. Drake May is actually playing some pretty good ball and has continued to play pretty good ball when he's out there and when he started. So, and Patriots, Rams 4.5-point favorites. What do you got?
I got the Rams, but I don't really know if they're going to win this or not. This is a very tough decision to make on this one. The Patriots got a good defense. They're not really all like world beaters and stuff like that. But like I said, this is going to be a tough game to cover and quite call. The Patriots are at home and everything like that. But yeah, give me the Rams. I'm definitely going to take the under. I might actually take those points if anything, but I'm not going to lock this in.
All right, Levon.
Yeah, I agree with Ant. The Patriots are bad. The Patriots are bad. If anybody loses to them, that was a bad Sunday. Drake May is a rookie. His stats last week weren't all that great, if I don't recall. He doesn't have any receivers to throw to. The offensive line isn't that good. The Patriots are a bad football team, and Drake May just needs to survive and get to the offseason, and maybe they could build something around him. But he should be running for his life if the Rams have any kind of defense whatsoever, because that Patriots offensive line is not very good. And who is he throwing the ball to? Decent running game. Stevenson kid is okay. But I like the Rams and the under, because I don't think the Patriots should be able to score many points. And the Rams, like you said, short week. Patriots can scheme up some defense, Mayo. But yeah, I'll take the Rams and the under.
Yeah, so quick stat, and why I'm taking the Rams too. It's a sweep from us. I don't know what Ace's line is, but I'm taking the Rams here as well. Rams defense is first in the NFL in pressure rate, while the Patriots offensive line ranks 30th in the league in allowing pressure. So Levon is on point with his assessment of the Patriots offensive line and how horrible they have been thus far this season. And the Rams defense has been very good at generating pressure, as we can tell.
Don't they have a rookie who's supposed to be good, like a tackle? What's his
They have
name?
a couple of they have a really young defense. I know the guy who you're talking about. He was playing last year with next to Aaron Donald, and there was a lot of talk
No,
about him last year.
I'll look it up.
Um, the Bears game aside, where the Patriots only gave up, I believe it was 9 points. The Patriots actually are allowing 25.5 points per game. And they are actually last in pass rate. So Stafford should be able to get some scores here on this game, even though they're on the road, even though it's a road game across the going across the country on a short week. I expect the Rams to be able to play pretty well here and put up a good number that the Patriots can't bounce back from. So I'm going to take the Rams here as well. This will be my first lock of the week. Ace, are you off of mute to make a pick? Rams
Yeah, I
Patriots.
am. I'm taking the Rams. If you want a prop bet, take Jared Verse over 1.5 sacks. He should get there pretty easily. I'm taking the Rams, but I'm not locking it in.
All right. All right. Browns at Saints. The Saints are 1.5 point favorites hosting the Browns. The Saints last week won a very, very close game against their division rival Atlanta Falcons at home. Marked the return of, the second game back for Derek Carr. Taysom Hill had a really good game. Their defense played pretty well against that, high-powered and highly regarded Falcons offense. It's just, it's a
Yep.
rivalry game. It's a rivalry game between these two teams, and those two teams just don't like each other. So this is one of those it could have been just one of those games. Now the Browns come in, and this is the Jameis Winston revenge game. Jameis Winston played his last two seasons as a Saints quarterback. He was never really able to secure the number one quarterback role after Drew Brees left, even though that was intended to be the plan. He never really got it. And so now he comes back as the starter for the Cleveland Browns in this spot. The Browns, if I'm not mistaken, the Browns lost last week. Let me just look that up really fast. Yes, the Browns lost last week to the Chargers, 27-10. If I remember this game correctly, yes, they looked pretty bad doing it. They were not able to score. And it doesn't look like they'll be able to score here. The Saints defense is actually playing pretty good ball here. And we know that bad Jameis Winston can show up at any given time. So Levon, Browns at Saints. What do you think?
This is a tough game to call. Two bad teams, both highly inconsistent. You don't know what you're going to get from week to week. It's like you said, bad Jameis shows up and Cleveland, doesn't have a chance. He'll throw 5 picks and they might end up winning. But with that being said, Nick Chubb is healthy, right?
He is.
Cleveland's defense on paper still pretty formidable, and I think good Jameis shows up. And the Saints shouldn't have won last week. I'm gonna stand firm. They're not as good as the Falcons. The Falcons choked that game away and played terribly. I'm gonna take the Browns. What were the points in this one?
The line is Saints -1.5, so they have to win by 2 points in order to cover. And the over/under is 44.5 in this one.
Yeah, give me the Browns in the under. I like Cleveland.
All right, Ant.
Where's Ant?
Ant, are you there?
Oh, yeah, my fault. I was trying to look for the mute button. I'm going to go the opposite way. Wait, who's at home?
Saints are
Yeah,
home.
Saints. Okay, yeah. So I was right. So I'm going to go the opposite way in this one. I'm going to take the Saints in the over in this one. I believe that the Saints had quite a more, even though they had their little troubles on the sides and stuff like that, they still have that consistency at quarterback. I'm a little worried about this pick. The only reason is because of James knows the team a little bit. Actually, now it actually got me thinking. Now I have to switch my how to do it. I usually do this almost every week. This is just the first time I'm actually saying it over the air instead of actually know how I did say it over there last week. But But anyway, I'm going to take the Browns on this one. I'm actually going to side with LeVon on this one, but I'm going to take the over. I'm not going to lock it in.
Okay. I'm gonna roll with the Saints here. The home favorite here. 1.5 points is a small enough spread that it, feels pretty, um, feels pretty reasonable for this one. Um, the interesting thing about the Saints game last week, Levon, you mentioned it. No, I don't think the Saints are better than the Falcons. The Falcons played down to their opponent level, and the Saints clearly played up in Coach Darren Rizzi's debut. It was clear that there was a lot of excitement and a lot of impassioned players on the sideline, really happy to win one for their coach, for their interim
Every team
coach.
does that.
And yeah, exactly. And it seems like every team after a big coaching change like that,
Except for
they
the
just seem
Jets.
Yeah, it's yeah.
it seems to, like, rally the troops to some degree. Um, but they didn't really do anything special. The defense allowed over 400 yards of total offense to the Falcons, and the Falcons missed 3 field goals
Mm-hmm.
in that game. So it's not like they really they dominated or anything like that. They just took advantage of some Falcons mistakes, and as a result of that, I think they were able to do that. And I think, but saying that, the Browns are just as
That's why I'm
capable
scared.
of making the same mistakes as the Falcons did,
That's
if
that's
not
why I'm really
more.
scared of this. I'm really
If
scared of
not
these things.
more. Yes, Jameis knows the Saints.
Yes,
He
but
was there for 2 years. He's very familiar with the team, and he'll probably do his best to antagonize the guys that he knows on that defense. But I don't think it'll matter because I think Jameis throws at least one interception, if not two, and that gives the Saints just enough to win. The most important, the biggest thing I'm afraid of here is Myles Garrett. He clearly can blow up a game, by himself. And if the Saints aren't careful, he absolutely will. And he'll, hurt Derek Carr, and then yeah, then the Saints are really in trouble if they can't turn to their quarterback there. So I'll take the Saints. I'm not going to lock this in. I think this is an interesting game. I think this plays really close. Maybe the Saints win by 3. So I'll take the Saints
I'm
with no
staying
lock.
away from this game and actual my money wise. I'm staying away from this game.
And the kid on the Rams I was thinking of is Braden Fisk.
Oh, Braden Fisk. Yes, that's the rookie.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I'm taking the Saints. They
Ace is
still have
taking
the
the
best
Saints.
running back. It's Alvin Kamara's day. I think he's gonna have over like 100, rushing and receiving combined. So I'm going with them. Chubb isn't fully healthy, and as good as Myles Garrett is, he's still playing with an injury that requires surgery at the end of the year. And yeah, the
Yeah,
rest of their defense isn't very good.
he's got flat feet. Yeah, I think he'll be okay. All right, Vikings at Titans. There's 5.5 points spread here. Vikings are favored to go into Tennessee and beat the Titans. Over under in this game is 39.5. So the Vikings, as I mentioned earlier, they won last week in Jacksonville. That game ended 12-7. It was a barn burner offensive fire. No, it wasn't. It was an absolutely horrible game to watch. And if you watch it, I apologize for you. Sam Darnold threw 3 picks against this Jaguars defense last week and looked absolutely horrible. If they were playing anyone other than Mac Jones at the quarterback position, Minnesota would have lost this game. But they won. And when you win, you get to enjoy, at the very least, a little bit of a reprieve. And then you get to go and face Tennessee, who's coming off of a loss themselves 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago I'm sorry, last week they played the Chargers and lost 27-17.
I thought the Chargers
Um,
played the Browns last week. You said
They were at the Chargers on the 10th, which
so. You
was
2 weeks ago because you said Chargers played the Browns last week and won
no,
27.
the Rams. We haven't picked the Chargers game yet.
No,
We
we
picked
were talking about the Browns. I thought it's okay. I thought I heard you say the Browns played the Chargers and
No,
lost.
I'm sorry. The Browns played the Chargers 2 weeks ago. They won a bye. They came off a bye last week. They didn't play last week.
Gotcha.
Right. So the Titans played the Chargers last week, last Sunday.
Okay.
Sorry for the confusion.
No, I should.
No worries. So Tennessee is looking at like I said, the Tennessee lost that game last week against the Chargers and have looked pretty bad all season. They've got what 2 wins on the year? Yeah, they're 2-7 on the year. They've beaten, and their last win was against New England. So this is not a really good team. But the question really remains here is what version of the Vikings do we get? Do we get the version of the Vikings that we saw last week against the Jaguars that was only able to muster up 12 points, or do we get the version of the Vikings that was a little closer to what they were the first 4 to 5 weeks of the season when they went 5-0? Levon, Vikings at Titans, Vikings by 5.5 points. What do you think?
Yeah, you nailed it. I mean, the shine is off that turd. Darnold is reverting back to what we all thought he was. Before the Vikings started this year, what was it, 6-0, something like that?
They were 5-0.
Or 5?
Yeah.
He's throwing picks. They can't put any points on the board. So we don't know which way are they regressing. If they're regressing, then Tennessee could take advantage of that, make a game of it. But if he snaps out of it, defense plays well, and he can play competent quarterback play, then they could eke another victory out against a team that is basically in the running for the first pick in the draft with my Giants. So I'm gonna stick with picking them. I think. Oh yeah, I don't think I picked against them yet. I don't think so. But I'm gonna take the Vikings because Tennessee's bad, and the bad teams are who we thought they were. And Minnesota should win this game and try to keep pace in the Central. So I'll take Minnesota.
All right.
What division?
Well, I mean,
You said the Central.
He's
What
been
is
You
it?
saying
say the
that all
NFC
season.
Central?
He's been saying that all season. Every once in a while, he'll just drop it. I
Why
wasn't
you
sure if he
guys
was
so
being
low?
I wasn't sure if he was
Why are
being
you
disrespectful
why are
or
you so out of it?
No, something's wrong. Very low. Talking
who
regular.
is Ace or me?
Both of you, for some reason, my volume is up, but I barely hear you. Yeah, so Minnesota can keep pace. It is still the Central, isn't it? Or is it in the North? Jesus,
It's the North. It's the North.
God, aging myself here. It used to be the Central, right?
Yes, it did.
Yeah,
That's
22
how
years
old I
ago.
am, everybody. That's how old I am.
Oh man.
Jesus,
No,
something happened to
it's not the
my
1930s.
volume. Damn it. What
Ace, do you
happened
have
to
a pick on Vikings Titans?
What's this?
Taking the Titans, they can run the ball. The Vikings are overrated. Their
Oh.
defense is blitz happy, and they've been found out. Sam Darnold turned into a pumpkin. Ant was wrong. I'd like to just state that for the record. They're a trash team. Somehow they beat a team 12-7, and they got lucky. And now the wheel's about to fall off, and the Titans are going to reap the benefits of that. Will Levis was actually playing pretty well last week, and Calvin Ridley is also playing well. So expect them to light them up.
All right, Ant.
Yeah, Ant's not wrong on this. Go ahead. We're sticking with the Vikings on this one. But I'm not gonna lock this in. I'm saving my lock for a little bit later. We still got 6, right?
Yes.
Or are we going up to 7?
Yeah, we got six. Six is good.
All right. So I'm gonna still keep the Vikings on this one. I'm not gonna make this a lock, but I still believe in Sam. I don't believe in mayonnaise, man. So quite definitely on this one. And quite Sam Donald's actually still fighting for his job, no matter what people think about. Sam is fighting to be a starter right now because he's still got that rookie sitting behind him, even though he's on the IR. That rookie is still sitting there, who could be the Vikings' future. Sam is trying to make sure that he's the Vikings' future or somebody else's. So I doubt we're going to see that mistake coming in this week coming up. Taking the Vikings and I'm taking the under.
Sam Darnold, I look. Hot take, and Sam Darnold will not be the Vikings quarterback next season. That's a hot take. Okay, I don't know who needs to hear that.
But
Sam Darnold will be on another team next year.
He might be on another team next year, but he's still fighting to be a starter.
He can
He will
fight all he
be
wants
lucky to
to.
be in the NFL.
He can fight all he wants to. I
He'll
think
be
he'll have
ahead
to
on the depth
continue to
chart ahead
fight.
of Nathan Peterman.
I think he'll
Wow.
have to continue to fight next season. I just don't see a lot of opportunities for Sam Darnold to come in and start right away. And I don't think that anything he's shown thus far this season with this Vikings team has proven that he is, he's not Baker Mayfield. He's not Baker Mayfield. Unless the Vikings turn it around and become, they do have 7 victories. It's not like this is a bad team. They are 7-2. unless he's able to get them to the playoffs and get a playoff victory, or surprise somebody in the playoffs as a wild card, or hell, even win the division. They're not that far away from the division lead, the division leading Lions. They're only a game
I
off,
think they'll go
even though
with
they do have
JJ
an extra loss
McCarthy
in
if
the
he's
column.
healthy.
Oh, that's
But yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, no, I believe the Vikings are going to JJ McCarthy regardless. I'm just saying in terms of Sam. I'm just responding to Ant's conversation about Sam Darnold fighting for a starting job in the NFL. I
Oh, in
think
the
Okay.
UFL, man.
the chances for
Wow.
that are slim.
Oh boy.
I believe in
Rich,
Lego head man Sam Darnold. He's gonna actually he's
Play,
gonna
man.
win this game.
that's fine. The four of us are split here. I'm taking the Titans. I'm going along with AC. I'm taking the Titans here as well. The Titans have actually been a pretty competitive team at home. 3 of their 4 games at home have been decided by 1 score. And Minnesota has not scored 21 points, more than 21 points since week 7. I believe this Titans defense is actually pretty good. And Levis is actually fully healthy, and he's coming off of a decent performance. He didn't throw an interception. He had 2 touchdowns. So if the Vikings win, I don't think the 5.5 points is a good enough cover here. I'll take the Titans to cover the number, if they don't, if not winning outright. So we're split down the middle here, but no locks. Colts at Texans. I'm sorry, Colts at Jets. I apologize. The Jets are 3.5-point favorites. I don't know why the Jets keep being favored in these games, despite the fact that they continue to lose these games. But the Jets are 3.5-point favorites hosting the Indianapolis Colts. It is the return to the starting lineup for young Mr. Anthony Richardson, as he's now brought back to be the number 1 quarterback on the team, replacing Joe Flacco. Meanwhile, the Jets are coming off of their disappointing loss at the hands of the Arizona Cardinals on the road. They lost that game 31-6, and it looked even worse than the score indicated. I did happen to watch that game in its entirety, just in a replay, and my God, it just really looks bad. But I'm gonna leave it to Ant here. I know I let you preview the game before, and you didn't. You felt a little bit caught off guard, so I didn't ask you to do it this time. But I will ask you to be the first of us to give your pick on this one. Jets hosting the Colts. Jets are 3.5-point favorites. What are you thinking?
First, I gotta say that Anthony was right. I called it last week. I knew he was gonna get their ass smacked. I said it. I said it was gonna be a blowout. I said it was gonna get destroyed. But anyway, that's the reason why on my little avatar picture I got the nice little guy wearing the paper bag head over his head again. But this is gonna be a surprise. I'm taking the Jets, and I'm actually taking the points. Those 3.5 points is actually really gonna be worth it, because the reason why I'm taking it is because the Jets actually discovered something this what was it? Yes, the one day, yeah, I think it was Tuesday. They discovered something that no NFL team has ever discovered before. They discovered, like Christopher Columbus discovered America, which is false. You know what they discovered? They discovered that how to tackle. They had tackling drills. You know, they wearing what's the name, pads and stuff like that. They had tackling drills, wearing pads. You know, things you're supposed to do in the off season. You know, things you're supposed to do instead of going to Egypt and stuff like that. So they actually discovered that this week, and they had to actually have fundamental practices. You know, little by little, they can do every week. They can do new fundamental practices, and hopefully, they magically make it into the playoffs, which is never going to happen. But the reason why I'm picking the Jets also is because, just like last week when I said the Jets always lose stupid games when they come off of a mini bye weeks and real bye weeks, because they're going to lose the next game after this one, because that's going to be after their bye week. Count that in as a lock for next 2 weeks from now. But the reason why the Jets are going to win this is because they always try to win so much just so they can give you a hint of hope, and then they fuck up again. And while they're doing that, they try to get themselves out of the top seats to get the real quarterbacks that get drafted. But anyway, this is going to be my second lock of the week. The Jets and those 3.5 points. Lock it in.
Folks, before we were, folks listening, I just
Put
want
all
you
your money
guys
on that
to
shit.
appreciate Anthony as the national treasure that he is. Not only did he give you a pick for this week's game, he gave you a pick for 2 weeks in the future. Okay, we have no clue on what the lineup is going to look like for that game. He gave you a pick for this week and 2 weeks from now. He told you to pick the Jets this week and don't pick the Jets in 2 weeks when the Jets play, in week 13.
And I don't even know who they play.
That's golden. He doesn't even know who they play. That's even better. He has no idea who they play. He just knows they're going to lose that game. All right, Levon, it's up to you.
I truly enjoy listening to Anthony talk about his Jets. I truly. You still hoping they win games, Ant?
No, but this always happens every time. This is how we quite got away from getting Trevor Lawrence and decided to get Zach Wilson. You know, the Mormon Brett Favre or whatever.
Oh man,
that's how it always happens.
I'm picking the Jets because Richardson is back at quarterback, and I'm not convinced that young man should have even came out when he did. He needed to cook a little more, need a little more seasoning. Unless he just runs the option and whatever they used to run back in the day when the quarterback ran the ball left and right, and the Jets can't stop that, which they should be able to. They've got the players on defense to do it, and they're at home. Yeah,
they haven't stopped that play since they went to the playoffs or the back-to-back years on the Rex. That's the reason why they started drafting defensive ends. They can never stop that same stupid play. You know who started that shit? Ben Roethlisberger. He ran over the Jets, and that's how they lost that. It's the same shitty-ass play all the time. Jets can never stop that.
I'm going to take the Jets and under. Take the Jets and the under.
Yeah, just for the fun of this, I'm probably not going to see this game, but I'm going to take the Colts. I like look. First off, I'm done picking the Jets until they show me something worth picking.
I'm telling you, they're gonna look spectacular this week. I'm telling you.
Even with the run pass, that should hurt more than it helps, because here's the thing.
This hurts my soul.
The Jets are likely not going to make the playoffs. They're 3-7. They're likely not going to make the playoffs, and I think it's pretty clear that Aaron Rodgers is done. He's done as a quarterback.
But he's going to show up back next year with Woody Johnson. He's going to show up.
I don't know if he's going to come back or not. I hope he doesn't. But as a Jet fan, you kind of have to hope that Aaron Rodgers doesn't come back. You just kind of get this whole saga over with, and you guys have a good enough draft position to select one of the 4 top guys coming out of college this year or next season. But you just won't. You won't have that opportunity.
No, it's not going to happen.
Games like this against the Colts. You
won't
have that opportunity if you don't finish with a top or a bottom 4 record. And if you win a game like this, it'll just start a whole new week of conversations about whether the Jets are back, whether they can get themselves back into the mix, whether they can fight for a playoff spot, what's their realistic opportunities. And then they'll just the way that it happened a couple of weeks ago when the Jets beat the Texans, it starts to bring up all of these dreams and thoughts about potential contention, when you should be at this point thinking about the next phase, the next era, the next opportunity for the Jets to get the quarterback of their future. So I'm going to take the Colts just because I want to believe that the Jets are going to lose this game so they can continue to lose and get themselves a good draft pick. So I'm going to take the Colts, but I'm not looking at it.
Oh, I wish I had your loving heart, Malik, and actually believed in that and all that heart and soul. But I'm as a Jets fan, I even know how they make they plays. Everybody should know this by now. It's run, pass, and it's it's run. And there's also run to the running back when you're third and short. And the running back is like 20 yards back for some strange reason, then they get put back there another 20 yards. There's always stupid stuff like that.
I will say it was one of those things. I don't know if you guys saw the game, and I'm assuming you saw the game. There was an opportunity. There was a shot of Aaron Rodgers laying on the ground at and I don't know if he got sacked or if he just he got hit after throwing the ball or something. But anyway, the pic, there was an image of him just laying on the ground, and I looked at him and I was like, man, that's what 40 looks like. That's what 40 looks like trying to continue playing. He looked like he was done. He just looked like he was asking himself. He was legitimately having a question, having a conversation with himself, trying to figure out, why am I here? Why am I doing this now?
The funny thing about it is that it seems like that with him every single week, and it seems like the cameraman is just perfectly doing it. It's like the guy who I forgot that damn comedy. But anyway, it feels like one of those guys
direction.
Filming. Yes, that has good direction because they always zoom in on him at the right moment. Like
They
when people
really
fuck up
find
and stuff like
him.
that, he zooms right. They zoom up right in his face. It's like, why the fuck am I here? Type of look. Like
He
I should be
must, I mean, he
retired.
must do that every week. Like this, that's the thing. Like he must do that a lot every week. He must have those looks on his face because they always catch him. Ace, you got a pick for this one? Jets at Colts at Jets, 3.5 point
I do.
favorites. Three and a half
Colts in
point
Jersey.
I'm locking in the Jets. I'm locking in the New Jersey Jets. I am calling them New Jersey because both
Yes,
teams have
lock in the
decent
Jersey
records.
Jets.
I'm locking in the Jersey Jets because the Indianapolis Colts have a negative point differential. Somehow they have one more win than the Jets. They don't play well outdoors. The Jets have won 2 of their 3 games at home. This is a home game against a team that will not make the playoffs. The Jets have a lot of sacks, and if they can get pressure on Anthony Richardson, he's already prone to making mistakes. So he'll get one highlight throw to Alec Pierce down the field. But I expect them to methodically tear this team apart. Jonathan Taylor just keeps getting terrible quarterback, even though they're averaging 120 rushing yards a game. Quentin Williams is in the middle, and he tackled the life out of Kyler Murray because he was just tired of chasing that man. He's like, I'm going to hit you as hard as I possibly can, which was a beautiful, beautiful hit last week.
Yeah, that was awesome.
But
I kept on
I think
watching
that
that a
was
couple of
Quincy.
times.
That was Quinnen, or that
No,
was
that's
Quincy.
Quincy. That's
that was
Quincy.
Quincy Williams.
Yeah, that was
My
the
bad, Quincy
linebacker.
Williams.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
Yeah,
I expect
he
the
knocked
Jets to
his
get a lot
helmet
of
off.
pressure. Yeah, I expect them to get a lot of pressure on the inexperienced quarterback. Joe Flacco played himself out of a possible starting job. That's how bad he was. There's just not enough talent in Indianapolis genuinely to win. I don't know why they believe there is, but yeah, the Jets should win this game. And unfortunately, I think they're going to sneak into the third wild card spot.
Hmm.
Denver's 5-5. Indianapolis is directly behind them. Behind them is Cincinnati, and ahead
If
of
that
you
happens,
is 3-6 Miami. So with 3 wins, sadly, the Jets are in the mix.
wow, I
So,
can't believe.
so
You know what?
sad.
You actually remind me that actually can actually happen. You're right. If especially if Cincinnati loses, Jets can actually sweep up to the 7th spot.
That
That's
is
scary.
hilarious.
Correct.
All right.
If y'all win this game, it legitimately puts the Jets like right there, right out of the wild card, which is insane.
You see, Malik. This is the reason why my heart is
I
hurting and my
I
soul is burning.
I look, I am picking the Colts because I'm praying that you guys don't that doesn't happen. I'm praying that you guys can get yourselves out of this situation by figuring out how to get away from Aaron Rodgers and get yourself a good draft pick. So that's why I'm picking the
This,
Colts.
this is worse than getting sent to hell.
Oh my.
Raiders at the Dolphins. The Dolphins are 7.5 point favorites hosting the Raiders in Miami. Miami is coming off of a victory against the Rams last week on Monday Night Football. They looked pretty good doing it. They didn't score very well in that game, but they did. They were defensively. They looked much better than they had looked in previous games. And they only gave up 15 points. They didn't give up a touchdown. So it was a pretty good game overall for them on Monday night, even though Tyreek Hill did not look great. I know he was playing through an injury or playing through some pain in his hand at the beginning of the game. But he played through it. He only had 3 catches. He did have a touchdown in the game, and Tua looked decent, not great, but just pretty decent. Looks like they're slowly kind of coming back to to resemble the team that they were earlier in the season and the offense that they could potentially be. That said, the Raiders are the Raiders. The Raiders have not been very good. They have lost. They are now 2-7. They have lost 5 straight. And they last lost to the Cincinnati Bengals on the 3rd, which was 2 weeks ago. So they're coming over. They're coming off of their bye. They have not looked good all year. They should be the healthier team, relatively healthy team coming into this, but this is still the Gardner Minshew show. Alexander Madison is the back as the starting running back, not the backup running back. The receivers are, none to be identified, like Jacoby Myers and those lot. Brock Bowers is a really good player at the tight end position. He's probably the best player on their team, which is saying a lot because he's a rookie. And defensively, they're Max Crosby and not much else. So the Raiders are 7.5 point underdogs here going to Miami. Levon, what's your pick here?
Yeah, you previewed that very well. Dolphins. Give me the Dolphins, and I'm locking that in.
Oh, okay. So this is not this is an obvious lock, right? This is
It
unlike last week when
I
you went
can't
with the
get more
sneaky lock.
obvious. Yeah, no more. I can't. My record last week was too. No more sneaky locks. I got to get back to 500 before I get back to the sneaky locks. This is an obvious no-brainer, which means the Raiders will probably win the game. But yeah, give me the Dolphins, and I'm locking that in.
Yeah, I'm locking the Dolphins here as well. This just looks too. It's just there's no viable way. The Dolphins are looking much better. They're playing better, and there's just no viable way you can pick the Raiders. And like even betting on Gardner Minshew in this offense is just feels icky. I really feel bad for Antonio Pierce in this situation, but Ant,
Hmm?
what are you picking?
Oh, the Raiders getting the first round pick, the first pick of the draft against Shakur Sanders. That's a lock. So I'm gonna pick the Dolphins in this one. Obviously, pick everybody else, and I'm just gonna take the under just to be safe. And this is gonna be my third lock of the week. I think that's my third.
Okay.
But yeah,
Ace,
put
are
money
you
on
really
Shakur
gonna
Sanders
punch
be on the
in?
Raiders. Sorry about that.
You mean
A-
Shador? I don't know who Shakur is, but
Oh
that is
yeah,
other.
whatever. You know I'm bad at pronouncing stuff, and besides, it makes me more comedical in this show.
Mm-hmm. Sure, I got you. Yeah, I'm taking the Dolphins ends up. It's going to be an easy win for them. I just don't see how the other team scores any points. But I just want to point out one obvious stat. There are 32 teams in the NFL.
Is
The
that the
defense
obvious
is so
stat?
bad. No, the defense is so
Oh,
bad for
okay.
the Raiders. They are 30th in points allowed per game, 27.9. Tua, since they've come back, they have not scored less than 27 points. Okay, so there's that. They are dead last in rushing yards per game at 76.9 for the Raiders. They have no rushing game. They don't generate a lot of sacks. They're 29th in time of possession, and they give up a ton of points. The Dolphins are going to blow them out, and I'm going to take the over. This game might be 35-7. I don't know, 28-10, 28-14, whatever you want to call it. The Dolphins are going to roll them. So take the Dolphins. It should be an easy one. I'm going to save my sneaky lock coming up.
This game might be 35-7 at half if they don't if they don't
Facts.
mess if the Dolphins, get back on track.
Wait, did I
All
say
right.
under? I meant over. Sorry about that.
All right. Uh Probably a game of the week candidate. Ravens at the Steelers. The Baltimore Ravens are 3-point favorites heading into Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh is coming off of a win last week against the Washington Commanders, who we're watching right now. They won that game 28-27. That was a really interesting game, really fun game. It was back and forth the entire time. Thought the Commanders had it in the bag, but um, Mike Tomlin the hell out of the Commanders. He outcoached them, out savvied them, and he has a quarterback that does what he needs to get done with the ball, especially in the passing game, and to go along with a stout defense there on the Steelers side. On the other side, Lamar Jackson is pretty much locking in his third MVP award. Seems to be an award he's pretty good at winning, because of the regular season games that he's able to put together. Obviously, the biggest test is going to be in the playoffs if and when the Baltimore Ravens get there. But this is one of those games that this is one of those opportunities where Lamar Jackson just seems to, be able to do whatever he wants whenever he wants. The difference this season, though, is the Ravens defense is bad, particularly their passing defense. They're very good against the run. They're number one in the NFL against the run, but against the pass, they are dead last in the NFL. That is not good. And so we'll see what happens here. Steelers, Ravens, and AFC North up for grabs. Two seven win teams here. Ace, I'll start with you. Ravens are your adopted team. So who are you picking
Wow,
here?
we actually giving it to him? Okay.
The Ravens are America's team. I don't know what you're talking about.
Stop that
Derrick
BS.
Henry has a Derrick Henry has a full season's worth of yards and touchdowns already. We're in week 10. The man has 1,100 yards and 12 TDs, and I believe he is 30 years old. He is the last Hall of Fame running back we're going to see for a very long time playing the NFL. Appreciate him while he's here. Ravens are first in points per game. They're first in yards per game. They are first in rush yards per game. And they are third in time of possession. Everything that Pittsburgh likes to try to stop you from doing, they are good at. I'm going to take Baltimore, and I'm going to lock that in at -3. I know this is not going to come down to a field goal because Justin Tucker has been lost from 50 yards out. Both of these teams play outside. I think this is the only division where every single team does not play in a dome, which is actually kind of rare. But that will matter. Russell Wilson is not cooked. They're asking him to play within the offense, and it's working well. They just don't have as good a running back as Derrick Henry. And Lamar Jackson has 24 passing touchdowns and 2 interceptions. He is playing tremendous football. He's going to have to score 40 points to win this game because somehow Russell Wilson's going to score 30. Take the over, take the Ravens, lock it in, playing for the division lead. Let's go. Lock up.
All right. Ant.
What was I saying? Oh yeah. Yeah, Lamar, he was right about Derrick Henry. One thing, he's carrying my fantasy season, so I definitely know. And Malik, you was right about the defense. I have to get rid of them in fantasy. They messing me up with that one as well. But as far as just to save time for everybody else, so you don't have to fast forward, I'm just copying and pasting everything Ace says and put it on mine and make that a lock.
All right. Levon.
To Ace's point, Lamar Jackson is the Aaron Judge of football. He's excellent in the regular season. He puts up great numbers. He owns the MVP award. But when the lights,
He's today's Peyton Manning. Come on, without the Peyton Manning stuff.
when the lights are on, and he has to go and play Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes or Joe Burrow in a winner-take-all game in Baltimore, all of a sudden those passes will be high. They'll be in the dirt. He'll have open receivers, and he'll choose to trust his legs instead. He's an excellent regular season player. He'll win MVP by running for this and throwing the wide open, speedy guys. But no. Give Spags a week to prepare for him, and all of that vanishes. But we're talking about this game. It's a tough one to call. I just believe in Mike Tomlin so much that he's like Belichick. I just believe that his coaching will make up for the deficiencies the rest of the team has. And Najee Harris is not that far. I mean, Derrick Henry is a Hall of Famer, but Najee Harris, talent-wise, isn't that
He's
far.
only 500 yards behind him.
This year, I mean, yeah, I'm just talking about.
He has 100. Najee Harris has 154 carries.
I'm saying talent, skill, player. They're both big, bruising running backs. Henry is a Hall of Famer, yes, but on a skill talent level, to say that there's much of a disparity there. I mean, Derrick Henry's not on Tennessee for a reason. I mean, they could use him, but they let him go because running back is still the running back position. And Baltimore is an excellent running team as long as Lamar is there. So Derrick Henry is, doing what Derrick Henry does. He's not the last Hall of Fame running back we'll see. That's a hot ass take. You and these hot ass takes. We're watching a Hall of Fame running back right now.
For a while. I don't even think that's a legitimately crazy thing to say. You got to get 1,000 yards to get in.
That's gonna be my.
No one else is close.
I'm gonna think about that one because I think Saquon is a Hall of Fame running back, even though
Saquon won't get to 10K.
2 years.
McCaffrey might get there.
I was thinking McCaffrey too. Malik took the words. Yeah, I was thinking
McCaffrey doesn't have an Achilles left in his ankle.
Yeah,
so I don't know about that. He's got to go to Germany already. So that's
both of those runners are as talented as a Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry just doesn't get hurt as much as those other two do. But anyway, I said all that just to say I don't want to get cute with this one. I need to get back on the winning track here. Give me Lamar Jackson and the Ravens, and I'll lock that in.
Wow, I thought you were going with me. I thought you were going to go with the Steelers here. I am picking the
Steelers, but I can't get cute. I went 5 and something with my.
Well, look, I got cute last week and picked the damn Commanders to beat the Steelers and got wrong on that one. I am not doing that this week. I don't think the Steelers are a cute pick. The Steelers are just a good pick, especially at home. They have the better defense. They have the better special teams. And the offenses, they don't have the better offense, but their defense on the Ravens side of the ball is absolutely horrendous. Mike Tomlin, as a home underdog in his career, is 18-6, 18-6-3. And he's 12-3-1 since 2017. Lamar Jackson, on games that he has finished against the Pittsburgh Steelers, is 1-3 in games that he has finished in his career. He has the lowest passer rating of his career, the lowest yards per game of his career, and a negative touchdown to interception ratio for his career against Pittsburgh in games that he has played and finished against them. He's not good against the Steelers, has never been good against the Steelers, and maybe he'll be good against the Steelers, but his defense is bad and will be bad against the Steelers, and the Steelers will likely win this game. But even if they don't win this game, I'll take the points because the games against these two teams tend to trend towards low scoring, or tend to trend very closely to one another. And Levon, you were dead on about the Lamar Jackson, Aaron Judge comparison. As a matter of fact, if you don't watch First Things First, the Fox Sports show that comes on in the afternoons, Mr. Nick Wright has taken to calling Lamar Jackson on numerous occasions. He's taken to calling Lamar Jackson Lamar Judge or Aaron Jackson. He has done that on multiple occasions, and it pisses me off to no end. But it's kind of true. It's kind of true until Lamar proves otherwise. All right, Seahawks at 49ers. The 49ers are 6.5-point favorites here against the Seahawks. The 49ers won their game last week against Tampa Bay and looked pretty good doing it, pretty decent doing it in that victory. CMC returned to the team coming off of his Achilles injury and looked he looked rusty, but he made a big play towards the end of the game, a big reception towards the end of the game, which got them the victory, which sealed things up for Mr. Jake Moody to make a field goal at the end of the game, and despite missing 3 during the game, and he hit the one that counted, and San Francisco was able to get out of Tampa Bay with a victory. Meanwhile, the Seahawks lost to the Rams 2 weeks ago. They're coming off of their bye, and they are going on the road to face a 49ers team that they lost to 4 weeks ago, back in October, 36-24. I'm going to start with Ant. I'm going to start with you here. Seahawks at the 49ers. Who do you got?
I'm just gonna make it short and sweet. I don't like the points on this one, so I'm gonna take the 49ers and I'm gonna take the under this one. I'm not gonna make this a lot though.
All right, Levon.
Rapid fire. I'm gonna take the Niners as well. And I'm gonna lock this in, use my locks up. I'll take the Niners and I'm locking it in.
Okay. Ace, are you there? Going
Yes,
once.
I am.
Okay.
I am also going to be locking in the Seattle Seahawks. I don't trust Christian McCaffrey. I think that there's just too much pressure on the 49ers. I think they win, but I don't think they cover. Geno Smith seems to play really well against this team. I know they're missing DK Metcalf, but the fact that they're coming off their bye is giving Kenneth Walker a lot of chances to get healthy. So I think that's going to give them a chance to keep it close. So I'm going to lock in the Seahawks.
All right. The 49ers' only victory in their division this season has been against the Seahawks. This is the second time they're playing them. They've lost to the Rams and they've lost to the Cardinals. But the 49ers are getting healthier at the right time and appear to be trending in the right direction during a time when the division is still very much up for grabs. So they're 5-4. I don't expect them to go. I don't expect them to fall back to the median here. I do expect them to get a win. Ace, I think you're right here. The 6.5 points is a bit much for this cover. This actually opened up at 8.5 at the beginning of the week and has trended downwards to a 6.5. Not sure if that's injury related or if there's anything else that would be sending the number down other than just a lot of money coming in for Seattle at that 8.5 point figure. But it seems like 6.5 has flattened the line a little bit more as the sharp money is, as the public money is at 52% going towards San Francisco and 48% going towards the Seahawks. So the money's really flattened since the number got to 6.5. So I like the 6.5 for San Francisco here. I'll take that. No lock, but I'll take that, and I'll roll with the 49ers to cover at home. All right, Falcons at the Broncos. The Broncos are 2.5-point favorites here, hosting the Falcons. The Broncos looked really, really good last week and came about as close as you can possibly come to beating the Kansas City Chiefs as anybody has come over the past year. And it came down to a last-second field goal that was blocked. It was a 34-yard field goal blocked by the Kansas City Chiefs to give them the very, very close victory at, 16-14. Denver owned that game. If you watch that game, Denver owned that game the entire time. There were some very, very interesting play calls by Sean Payton that, in my opinion, when you're playing a team like the Chiefs in Kansas City and you have the momentum, you got to go for the jugular. He played a little bit too conservative, a little bit too cautious. He played not to lose and gave Patrick Mahomes and that offense an opportunity to get a dub. Denver should be feeling sick right now because they should have beaten the Chiefs last week. That said, they come home. They're hosting a Falcons team that lost on the road in New Orleans, and like I said before, looked pretty good offensively doing it. They just weren't able to put points on the board, and they missed some field goals that you don't usually expect to see from Younghoe Koo and that special teams. So, Levon, this is your pick to win the NFC South. You've throughout the season you've applauded their skill set up to this point. The Falcons are in Denver. What are you thinking?
I'm glad you went that way, because I don't know what you were about to say with the Levon. These are my face kind of snapped toward the
Well, this is your pick for the NFC South. This was your pick.
2-800. I bleed blue over here. Don't get it.
No, I would never call you a Falcons fan. I would never do that.
Falcons got a good team. Denver. Denver did something that I didn't think they could do, and they came and they tried to shock the champs, and the champs fell asleep on Denver and almost paid for it. But Denver, they got a great defense, but they're not as talented as Atlanta. Offensively, they're not. Defensively, this could make for an interesting game. It really could, now that I think about it. Where's this? As you said, this game's in Denver, right?
In Denver, yep.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the Broncos. I'm gonna get a little sneaky with this one. Atlanta should win this because they're a good team in good position. They are trying to win the division, coming off a loss. They need to go in thinking, snatch this win. We need it. They don't. But I don't know if Atlanta's built like that. So, and I think that Peyton is a better coach than Harris, at least right now. And it's still Kirk Cousins, and they're going to Denver, which is pretty far from the A. Altitude and all. So give me the Broncos. And I didn't hear the points, but give me the Broncos.
44.5 is the points.
No, I'll take the under.
Okay. And Ant, before I come over to you, I just want to correct you, Levon. The Falcons head coach is Raheem Morris. His last name is not Harris.
Sorry about that, Raheem.
Don't worry. Ant, over to you. Falcons at Broncos. Broncos -2.5.
I picked I already have 3 locks, right?
You have 4 locks right now.
Okay. All right. Since you were supposed to have 7, I'm not going to lock this in. Good. I didn't want to lock this in. I'm just going to take the Broncos on this one. I don't trust the Falcons for this year, so I'm going to take the Broncos on this one. I'm taking the under. I had many bad picks with the Falcons. I'm just going to leave it like that.
I'm taking the Broncos too. I like the Broncos too. They showed me something last week against Kansas City. They showed me that they can play at a very high level, especially on the defensive side of the football. And, offensively, Bo Nix in that offense, while they aren't explosive, they are consistent. And if they can just keep themselves on schedule and don't and not put themselves in bad field positions or just or give up any turnovers throughout the game, they should be able to stay relatively close and they should be able to pull this game out. The Falcons still don't have much of a pass rush to speak of. They weren't able to get a pass rusher in the trade, at the end of the trade deadline, and they haven't really been able to generate sacks over the course of the season. They're still last in that category in the NFL. So I expect Denver to be able to, put up some points against this defense and make some plays. And on the offensive side of the ball, Atlanta may be able to put up some points as well, but I expect the Broncos defense to come prepared and be able to make some plays on that side. So I'll take the Broncos as well. Not locking this in, but I do like the Broncos -2.5. Ace, it's up to you. If you're there. And going once, going twice.
Hold
Ace
on,
is
I'm
next.
here.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah, I'm taking the Falcons. I'm locking them in. The Broncos are cooked. They don't believe in their coach. After last week, you lose a heartbreaker like that, it could ruin your season, and that's what's going to derail them. So I'm locking in the Falcons. Sneaky lock of the week.
Okay. Here we go.
Why are you taking a
No,
little
this
Vaughn
is
sneaky
this is
locks?
the game of the week. I'm sorry. This is the game of the week that I'm getting ready to call now. Chiefs at Bills. Chiefs at Bills. We just talked about the Chiefs and their game against the Broncos. They are going to Buffalo. This is the first time. I know. This is the first time, I'm sorry. This is the. I heard Nick Wright say this. This is the fourth time that the Chiefs have been underdogs in a game since they last lost. So the Chiefs' last loss was week 15 or 16 of last season. They have not lost. They have won 15 straight games on their schedule. They have not lost in that amount of time, and they have been underdogs in 4 of those contests, including this week. They are 2.5-point underdogs against the Bills in Buffalo. No weather situation to speak of here, although the Chiefs have clearly are able to play in cold weather situations. So I don't think that would be a factor, even if it was a problem, even if there was weather there. But the Bills are playing about as well as as they possibly could. They're winners of 5 straight. Last win was last week against the Indianapolis Colts, and in Indianapolis, and they're playing at a high level. Amari Cooper did not play last week, and even without him, Josh Allen looks to be just about as good as he's always been, despite the fact last week he didn't have a great game, but they still were able to win that game and pull that out. And they're looking like the best possible opponent for the Chiefs in the playoffs, because they unlike Baltimore appear to have a little bit more balance between the offense and defense. Meanwhile, the Chiefs are 9-0, still undefeated, still the best team, record-wise in the NFL. But to Levon's point, they have questions and they haven't really looked like it, despite the fact that they have not yet lost. So, Chiefs at Bills. And I know this is probably your favorite matchup to watch and to call. So I'm going to come to you first. Bills -2.5. What are you thinking?
Well, I called him last week. Of course, that was my first time I did a type of weekly prediction. I didn't do the 2 weeks yet until this week, but I called it on there and I called it on one of our private chats. I'm taking the Bills. I'm taking the over on this one. The Bills are 3-1 versus KC in the regular season, 0-3 in the playoffs. This is the only time I can see that KC can, from now to the end of the season, that KC can actually lose a game. The rest of the games is going to be quite a clean sweep, but this is going to be the perfect time for them to lose, so people can get off the rest, could be helping them out. And also at the same time, we're doubling down to keep the Dolphins' little mystique alive about being the undefeated season type of thing. So give me the Bills, give me the over in this one. This is going to be my first of my last 3 locks for the week.
All right. Levon.
That's a good stat. I was wondering what that was. A good stat. Bills own the regular season, but the Chiefs own the playoffs. I think that trend will probably continue. The Chiefs are due to lose the game. If I was a Chiefs fan, I'd want to get that loss out of the way. I would be nervous not losing, going into the playoffs, having not lost at all. It's just the law of averages. It averages out. Plus, they've had the luck of the Irish when it comes to these games and all the talk about the refs being in their pockets. And something came out about Mahomes asking the ref to let him know when somebody was getting close. It's just, yeah, it's a lot circling this team right now. So I think Buffalo wins this game. And I think weirdly enough, that works in Kansas City's favor because they need to crash a little bit if they're going to realize this three-peat.
All right, Ace.
Yeah, Patrick Mahomes has 9 interceptions and 12 touchdowns. I'm locking in the Bills. They're gonna win this one going away, make it very easy. So I think that's my fifth lock of the week,
Ace, that
just
is
to be
one,
on
two,
track.
3, 4, 5. That would be your unless
Six,
I'm wrong, that would be your sixth.
perfect. This is my six. So I'm six and out. There we go. Patrick Mahomes will have 12. He'll have 13 touchdowns passing. He'll have 10 interceptions after this game. He'll go 1 for 1. The Bills are gonna lock it in, and yeah, they're gonna run all over them. So give me Jaheim Allen with a couple of rushing TDs in this one.
All right. I'm going. It's a sweep. I'm going to take the Bills here as well, and I'm locking this in as well. I think Levon, you're right. I don't think it's luck that the Chiefs have won. I think the Chiefs have a clear model that they're using right now. It's very similar to the Patriots model from previous years when Tom Brady was. It definitely is. When
Yeah,
Tom
yeah,
Brady
yeah,
was,
but you know what they said about the Patriots as well, right?
what's that?
The refs, the same model. That's
No,
what
it's
I'm
the same
laughing.
model. No, yeah, it's the same model. It's the same model. But the Patriots played, complementary football on defense, keep the game close, and give your quarterback an opportunity late in the game to make a play, make one play, 2 plays, 5 plays, and however many plays need to be made, the quarterback makes those plays. What that leads you to is a ton of games that are won by, really, really small margins. And what that could also lead you to is losses on the same docket, losses in the same situation. So the Bills to me just look like they're again, they are both teams are, have won their fair share of games this season, but the Bills have looked like the hotter team all the way through. So I will take the Bills and I will lock this in as my uh, fourth lock of the week.
If you didn't see, just watch the TV right now.
Exactly.
Mm.
All right. Bengals at the Chargers is Sunday night football. This was a flexed game because the the game that was supposed to be for Sunday night football that was flexed out was the Colts at the Jets. So now we got the Bengals at the Chargers. So the Jets lost a primetime game. I remember we had that conversation back when the schedule was announced and how many primetime games the Jets were getting. But the Jets have lost that and probably not have another primetime game for the rest of the season. But the Bengals at the Chargers, Sunday night football. The Chargers, despite me calling them a relatively boring team last week, which they still are, they're a really good team. They are 6-3 right now, 6-3, and trending in the right direction in terms of getting themselves in the playoffs. We know that this was a team that's always been very talented, but for whatever reason could not get over the hump in terms of getting themselves into contention from a playoff perspective and getting some victories there. Jim Harbaugh comes in, replaces the old coach, not whose name escapes me at the moment, but
Yeah, because he's sucking his
he's
out of the league.
Staley, Brendan Staley. He stabilized the team, stabilized the offense, and has this defense playing, really, really good football on that side of the ball with Joey Bosa and Khalil Mack and those boys. So they are hosting a Bengals team that is all offense and very, very little defense. This is the most frustrating team to me because, we talked a little bit earlier about, Jared Goff throwing 5 picks and still finding a way to win. the Cincinnati Bengals find a way for Joe Burrow to throw five touchdowns and still find ways to lose. And so it's just very interesting situation for them. Their defense has been about as bad as you could possibly get. But Bengals at Chargers. Levon, what do you got?
The
Chargers are 1.5-point favorites. Over under is 47.5.
the Bengals. It's kind of unfortunate. Joe Burrow is probably my favorite quarterback in the National Football League, by the way. And it's unfortunate that it wasn't that many years ago that they were in the big game, young team, up and coming, and they lost. And everybody assumed that they would be back again and they would be at the top for a while. And the team has just steadily gone downhill and missed their window because they are terrible defensively. And offensively, they can be stopped. And I think the Chargers will win this game. I'll take the over on the points, and I want to lock that in.
All right. Ant.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to put my tinfoil hat back on because this connects back to my Jets rant earlier. This is the Bengals team that's supposed to actually lose, so they're gonna actually lose this game just so they could get for my tinfoil hat to work. So I'm going to take the Chargers in this one. I'm going to take the under in this one. And to your point that you said earlier about the Jets losing the prime time for the rest of the season, they're going to lose in prime time for the rest of my life. They're never going to see that ever again. Well, this is going to be a lock. This is a lock for the Bengals to lose too, to the Chargers.
All right, that is your sixth lock. All right, I will take the Chargers as well. No lock here. I think that they are a very good football team that is playing some of the best football that we've seen from them in the last few years. They have the top scoring defense in the NFL. And Justin Herbert has been playing extremely well these last few weeks. Meanwhile, everything I mentioned about the Bengals and their defensive woes has been true thus far. Levon, I agree with you. Joe Burrow is my favorite quarterback in the NFL. That's not obviously my team's quarterback, but he's been my favorite quarterback since LSU. I've loved Joe Burrow. So think he's a great quarterback, just not in the best situation. And unfortunately, I think the Bengals lose this game as well. So I'm taking the Chargers, no lock here, but Chargers in the under. Ace.
Give me the Chargers. They have a top 4 defense and an average offense. T. Higgins is still unlikely to play. The Bolts are going to win this one. The Bengals can't really run the ball, and that's been their Achilles heel all year. So give me the Chargers and their defense.
All right. Last but not least, Monday Night Football, Texans at Cowboys. Texans are 7.5-point favorites here. Over under is 42.5. The Texans are coming off of a disappointing loss, to say the least, against the Lions on Sunday Night Football last week, where they won the turnover battle 5-2, and still managed to lose that game at home, in just heartbreaking fashion for Texans fans. That said, the Texans look like they're getting Nico Collins back this week. He was cleared off of his injury, off of the 4-game IL or the 4-game injured reserve last week, but he did not play in that game. It looks like he is back. He's been practicing in full, with the team all week, so he will be back. And the Cowboys this week announced that Dak Prescott is having or either is or did have season-ending surgery and is in fact out for the year. So we'll see if it's another Cooper Rush game or maybe it's a Trey Lance game. We just don't know. But the Cowboys are really, really down bad, and this looks like a bit of a shit show for Monday Night Football. But anyway, Texans at Cowboys. Texans minus 7.5. Ace, what you got?
Give me the Cowboys. They're going to win.
Ace says the Cowboys are going to win this game. All right. Ant.
I'm gonna go the opposite on this one. I'm gonna take the Texans. I'm gonna take the under. This is the fight for the soul of the state of Texas itself. When it comes to the new, young, up and coming fan, the Cowboys are losing them fast. And I have to mention this. I did call it last week, and I'm calling it again. That last game that Prescott played would be his last game in a Cowboys uniform. I said it, and
I still
I meant it.
I still don't know
I,
how they would make that work
I wouldn't know.
financially.
They just paid.
Will there's a way. There's a will. There's a way. Just like how the
Okay, be quiet. I'm gonna mute myself.
I'm telling you, this is not the NBA. They can actually do this. It's gonna happen. Oh
All
yeah,
right,
Texans are gonna win lot and under.
Levon, over to
Those are
you.
two flaming takes in a row. One, Aaron with such conviction picking the Cowboys. If he, I don't know if he was prepared or he just rushed that. I don't know, but with such conviction picking the Cowboys, who are
What was your
literally
record last week?
struggling. I was gonna say, if
What was
you,
your record
Wow.
last week?
I was gonna
'Cause
say,
my
if
record
you
was
get
10 and
that right,
4. What
look.
was your record last week?
Well, the week before I was 9-5, 9-4, right with you. So
Which
It doesn't
tied
matter
me.
last
yeah,
the week
that's what I
before.
said,
You
right with you. But if you didn't
you
let me
flew too close
finish,
to the sun and your wings melted.
if you let me finish, if you get that right, which you won't, I will never doubt you again. And that's a hot take because I will doubt you again, but let's just say that I won't. But I love to see Dallas struggling, which they are. And look at 26. Like I said, Hall of Famer. Look at him. Look at him
Saquon
go.
Barkley is killing
Look
these
I'm just
dudes.
looking at the 25-10 when
at him.
when we started this, it was
Anyway,
7-0. But anyway,
hot take ace today. Hot take ace. Anyway, and Ant, what did Ant say? He says, "Oh, the Dak Prescott."
I should
They
have said
Dak
that since
Prescott
last
will never
week.
be a
did.
quarterback for the
They
Cowboys again.
And
just
this is before he was put on
paid the man.
IR. I said it.
Do you know how in the world? What are they going to do? Are they going to trade him to somebody who's going to take that money? And anyway, that's for closing remarks. Give me the Texans. Um, it's no way you get 5 turnovers in a game and lose. I don't know if that's ever happened in NFL history. At home, I don't know if that's ever happened in NFL history. If they were a bad team, that's the type of thing that gets you fired. I don't know what was said in that locker room or what was said during the week, during practice, but 5 turnovers. I didn't watch the game. Maybe if I watched it, I could believe it a little bit more. But 5 turnovers and you manage to lose a football game at home, they cannot lose this week, especially to Dallas, especially with no Dak Prescott. They cannot lose and hope to have any real shot of competing with the Buffalo Bills, the Ravens, the Chiefs. They just can't. They'll come out ready, hair on fire, and they will destroy Dallas in this game. So give me the Texans, locking that in.
All right. I am also locking in the Texans here. This is, yeah, everything Levon said on par. CJ Stroud is a good quarterback. He made some bad throws in that second half that, put the game that gave the Lions the opening that they needed in order to creep through the back door and get a victory. In all honesty, I too agree. If this was a team that was, 4-6 or 3-7 instead of 6-4, and you lost that type of game, yeah, I think your coach would be on the hot seat. But D'Amico Ryans is a good coach. This is a good team. It's a good organization. They run pretty well, and the Texans should beat the brakes off of the Cowboys on Monday night and show the state of Texas who is the number one dog in football in that town, and make things very, very difficult and very, very um just very interesting for the media come Tuesday when they're talking about the Cowboys, as they always do every week on every network for hours and hours and hours on end when the Dallas Cowboys don't need to be talked about because they stink. But they're gonna talk about them, and putting them on Monday Night Football is the exact reason why you do that. So I'll take the Texans as well, locking that in for my sixth and final lock of the week. All right, we're all done. Just to recap the locks before we get into the shout outs. Ace is locking in the Jaguars, the Bears, the Ravens, the Seahawks, the Falcons, and the Bills. Ant is locking in the Packers, the Jets, the Dolphins, the Ravens, the Bills, and the Chargers. Levon is locking in the Lions, the Dolphins, the Ravens, the 49ers, the Chargers, and the Texans. And I am locking in the Rams, the Dolphins, the Steelers, the Bills, the Chargers, and the Texans. All right. Let's get into our shout outs. Or Ace, do you want to do your college picks before we go into our shout outs? If you're there.
Thank you, Malik. I'm glad that you brought that up because I thought we were going to glaze over. But I'm glad we got a chance to get to it. Real quick, there are 4 games I want to touch on. There's 2 top 25 matchups, Missouri at South Carolina. South Carolina upset another SEC team last week. Missouri is going in there. They're both ranked in the low 20s. I think South Carolina is favored by 14 points. That is way too much. But Brady Cook, who has been in Missouri, I think, since the first Trump administration, is still their quarterback. Unfortunately, he is hurt. Therefore, Missouri is probably going to lose this game and lose by. South Carolina is going to be 7-3 after this, and they're going to knock Missouri out of possibly even making it to the college football playoff. Boise State is going to beat the brakes off of San Jose State and move up to 9-1. They're ranked number 13 in the country. Ashton Jeanty is probably going to break Barry Sanders' all-time yards from scrimmage record. This kid is amazing. He had 1,000 yards through 7 games in college football, 7 or 6 games. Unfortunately, this game is going to be on CBS Sports. It's very hard to watch. CBS Sports was some deep cable. Arizona State is going to K-State. K-State is ranked. Arizona State is going to beat them. They're getting 9 points. I expect them to cover that number. They're playing really, really well. Their starting quarterback is much better than I expected. Oregon, 10-0, going to Wisconsin. Oregon's only favored by 14. This game's on NBC. They're going to beat the hell out of Wisconsin. That's easy money. I don't know why that line is so low. Oregon has shown no signs of letting up. And the only team that played in that close was Ohio State and the aforementioned Boise State, who they beat by 3 points. And next up, and least, and definitely not, and last but definitely not least, 8-1 Tennessee going to 7-2 Georgia after Georgia just lost to the University of Mississippi. And after I said I hope they lose, University of Mississippi keeps rolling off all these wins. Georgia better show up and show out because otherwise they will be missing out on the 12th seed playoff with their third loss. We'll knock them out of the SEC title game. I know everybody down in the state of Georgia is probably sweating this one who's actually a fan of that team, who's not cheering for Georgia Tech, aside from you Atlanta heads, or Georgia State, aside from the real locals who went there. But Tennessee has a really good quarterback, but they are not at home, so I do not expect them to win. I do not expect them to cover, but Carson Beck has turned into a turnover machine, and Georgia cannot run the ball. So they look kind of weak, but I expect Georgia to roll over Tennessee. Roll over Tennessee. So give me Georgia, and I expect them to beat the brakes off of them. Count on them to come through. And that is it for my college picks.
All right. Just one note for the Georgia-Tennessee game that you mentioned, Ace. Georgia will be without leading rusher Trevor Etienne, the younger brother of the Jags.
Oh, it don't matter. They can't run the ball.
Jags running back Travis Etienne. He will be out of the game. So just a note for anybody that was thinking that.
They're going to have to take advantage of Nico Amaleva, who's their rookie quarterback, the California rookie freshman quarterback. And they're going to have to make do with that. But their defense is still pretty good at Georgia. And the way they came back against Alabama and the fact that they're at home should give them the dub.
All right. All right. Let's get into our shout outs. Ant, kick us off.
Just going to give a few shout outs. Shout outs to the Eagles for coming back and beating the snot out of the Commanders. You guys was actually losing. Your kicker couldn't do nothing in the beginning, but for some reason you did it. Shout outs to Woody Johnson. Hopefully your ass is gone and we're going to see you for the next 4 years. Sorry, I had to put a jet shout out in there. Um, and yes, Dak Prescott can actually end up not being with the Cowboys. I'm gonna go with that. I'm gonna die on that sword for this year. Lock it in, and I'm out. Peace.
Levon.
You be dead on that sword, alone on the beach, because cannot the amount of no, never mind. I want to give a shout out. It's big New York. My New York teams. I'm picking the Knicks to use my shout out on. I said 10 games. Said that to my colleague here, Malik, when we were leaving the debacle at State Farm Arena. And we're up to game 11, and they're still playing like they like trash, like absolute trash. The intensity's not there. It's not cohesive. They're not playing great team defense. Offensively, they look fine, but they don't look anything like the team we thought we were getting when we were all excited this offseason. But I want to shout out specifically Karl Anthony Towns, who I admit, being in Minnesota, I didn't know anything about his game other than what I heard others tell me. I saw a couple of playoff games, a couple of highlighted games on the big networks, but now that I've gotten to see his game up close and listen to the man articulate and talk basketball and talk about his teammates, I'm glad the Knicks made that deal. He is a solid player. It doesn't look like the stage is too bright for him. He's given us big games in this first 10. Just hope Tibbs doesn't wear him out. And watching him give it to Embiid, even though Embiid was half dead on the court that day, was a welcome sight. And I think Cat is going to, and this is a hot take, be the starting center for the East team this year in the All-Star game. And possibly down the road, as long as he's on this team, however long that is, he's going to be making all-star teams and maybe even all NBA because he's playing that well. I don't know if he played this well in Minnesota, but he's looking like top 5, top 3 center in the NBA. Well, and that was a good deal, and hopefully the Knicks can turn it around. So shout out to Bodega Cat, Big Cat. And shout out to Mikal Bridges, who I like, even though he's not playing up to the 5 draft picks we traded for him. Those are my shout outs.
Okay. Ace.
Shout out to Maction. Shout out to my UB Bulls winning a game in overtime at home. 51 to 30, 51 to 38 or 41 to 38 because the other team threw an interception. We got a touchdown to win that game. Shout out to the month of November in general. Shout out to the Commanders being the Commanders and folding like a cheap table, as they usually do. And shout out to the NFL, man. I'm just enjoying this. Oh, and a special shout out to John Gruden, who found a job with one of the most controversial brands in all of sports media, Barstool Sports. So on brand for you guys to hire someone who was fired for racism, sexism, and homophobia, the trifecta. He pulled it off in only one email, I believe. Yeah. Called the commissioner of the NFL the F word. Said that DeMaurice Smith had, was it rubber lips? And was saying sexist things about nude photos of cheerleaders at the time that worked for the Washington football team. So yeah, you guys are definitely on brand by hiring him. Because not even a college team would bring him in, try to recruit or be the head guy at their school. Even they knew better to do that. But Barstool, good on you. Good for you being you. And I'm out.
All right. I just
Wait,
have
wait,
two.
wait, wait. Call
Oh,
before you
go
go.
ahead.
Did I just heard Ace's kid just said a ha ha at the end before he paused?
I think so.
Before he put it on.
He knew what it was. He knew
that
what the
was
assignment
awesome.
was.
That was like right on cue.
I just have two shout outs. If y'all bear with me with the first one is obviously we talked a little bit about it at the beginning of the show. The first shout out is to Mike Tyson. He's making this, he's I still have no interest in watching this fight, but he's making it very interesting. At the final stare down today with him and Jake Paul, he promptly slapped Jake Paul in the face. And at a recent interview that Anthony, thank you so much for posting this. A recent interview with a young lady who was interviewing Mike Tyson about his legacy. Mike Tyson, in so many Mike Tyson words, just basically said, legacy means nothing. I'll be dead. I won't care. So I don't give a damn what you guys think about me. And anybody that says legacy it means anything is just for egos and people make it up and it's no big deal. And I could give a shit. I love it. I'm sorry. This is just
You said the
look,
clean version.
yeah, it was hilarious. It was hilarious. But say what you feel. Mike Tyson is selling this. He's selling this fight as best he possibly can. And so this fight might be interesting. I think it's going to be a shit show, but I think you guys will enjoy it. So, my last shout out is for someone that posted. I saw this on X. Someone posted this on Reddit, and
On Twitter.
it's
Twitter.
It's X now. But there was a post on Reddit that I wanted to read to you guys because I think Levon is going to enjoy this wholeheartedly, especially after the shout out that he just gave. So I'm going to read it to you guys. Bear with me real quick. All right. Now that Cat is gone, and there is so much patience for Randall, but y'all got what y'all wanted. An inefficient scorer who doesn't put any effort into defense. He can't rebound the effing basketball. He turns the ball over. He doesn't get back on defense. He ruins chemistry and has horrible body language. Nights like this, and the last game that we see him for is what he's always been. He's worthless if he isn't scoring. I'm so tired of watching Julius Randle on this team only ever function when his offensive game is on. He's checked out on defense all game and actively makes defense harder for the rest of the players on the floor because he's completely lost off the ball and doesn't give any effort. Even against Charlotte, 2 minutes into the game, Julius Randle is running with Brandon Miller on a breakaway and just stops under the basket and doesn't even contest when he literally had no fouls. There was no reason not to contest that shot. Now, Cat is nearly inarguably having the best season of his career with the Knicks, and we're stuck with two players who each have half of his skill set. All because people thought Cat was bad in the playoffs, stupid fouls, and that he was a whiner. But oh wait, Julius Randle has significantly worse body language, is an even bigger whiner, fouls just as stupidly, and is an infinitely worse playoff dropper than Cat has ever been. Get this effing clown off of the Timberwolves. This is 2 weeks or 3 weeks into the Julius
Yes.
Randle experiment in Minnesota, and there is already someone that is speaking Levon's language on the Minnesota Timberwolves. I don't know who this person is, but I read this and completely laughed my
That is
head off and
beautiful.
said, Levon needs to hear this because there's somebody that agrees with you in the state of Minnesota, whoever you are, if you're listening to the show, you have a friend in us.
And I
And
came around on Julius toward the end because we started winning and it looked like he was buying in, and OG helped cover up some of his deficiencies on defense. But body language shit. I mean, this shit with all those years, man. It was
and to be honest, like I haven't really watched any Minnesota Timberwolves games of this season. I did watch a couple of preseason games. So I mean, I haven't seen any of that, but I'm not surprised that this is what people are saying.
And they're 6, I think, right now.
They're what?
I think they're 6-6. The T-Wolves.
6.
That is correct.
They're 6-6. So
And they're still stuck with Rudy Gobert making $50 million a year for the next 2 seasons.
yeah, I miss Dante. Like Julius,
I do too.
I don't.
I miss Dante.
We just need Bridges to play better.
We need Mitch back. We need Precious back, and we need that's really it. That's really what we need. Because we need better defense. Defense is suffering big time. Big time.
All right. And that said, enjoy week 11. Enjoy your NFL picks. Hopefully you win some money. Check us back next week. Follow us on all the socials. We are out. Peace.
That's a touchdown. That's a touchdown. Zach Ertz.
Did you
Peace
stop the
out.